This is my new Stoic journal template in Notion. It's the first daily journaling solution that I found that actually means I journal regularly. And given that journaling is one of the best habits we can build to think clearly, increase our productivity and creativity, this is a game changer. Well, hi everyone, welcome to Better Creating. If you're new here, my name's Simon and the channel is about simplifying creative life. So I make videos about productivity, intentional living, creating better content. Now, to that end, in this video, I want to give you a tour of this new Notion journaling template that I've been developing. I'm properly proud of it. We're going to look at 3 scientifically proven benefits of journaling, what Stoic journaling is and how it can guide you to greater mental clarity, some practical tips on how to actually keep a daily journaling practice up and overcome that resistance of writing regularly, and I'll give you a tour of the Notion journal features that I really make this an effective system, as well as sharing some ideas, prompts and topics inspired by the Stoics that I've integrated into this template. I mean, it goes from fear setting, life-changing questions, monthly reflections, creative statement. Okay, you get the idea. But I do think I've saved the best till last, so make sure you check out the prompts at the end. If you want to get your hands on this specific journaling template, all the prompts, the whole shebang, it is available via the links in the description to my website for the price of a really nice cup of coffee. Hopefully that works out for you, and it's a way for me to kind of build Better Creating into something that's a serious part of my life. So much appreciated if you do choose to download the template. Let's dive into the tour. I read an article recently on the Daily Stoic that talked about this. According to a study, for example, from Harvard Business School, participants who journaled at the end of the day had a 25% increase in performance when compared to the control group who did not journal. Do you want 25% more productivity? That's amazing. Our results revealed reflection to be a powerful mechanism behind learning, confirming the words of American philosopher John Dewey when he said, "We do not learn from experience, we learn from reflection on experience." A Stanford University study also found that the critical relationship between writing and speaking. So writing reflects clear thinking and in turn, clear communication. What about this third study from Cambridge University, just up, well, a little bit away from where I live? They found improved well-being after things like traumatic or stressful events. Participants who were asked to write about the events for like 15-20 minutes resulted in improvements in both physical and psychological health. And finally, what I really do believe is that journaling can be one of the richest sources of creative discovery and inspiration you might have. So if you think journaling is tricky, it can be. How can we actually manage to keep a journaling practice? Let me know in the comments below how you find it, but I've always found it difficult to keep a regular journal, let alone know how to actually write when faced with that intimidating blank page. I did some research then and gathered some amazing prompts and tools, and that has helped. And that is all inspired by the Stoics. If you haven't heard of Stoicism or the Stoics, perhaps the most famous Stoic philosopher is the Emperor of Rome, perhaps the last good emperor of Rome, called Marcus Aurelius. Now, he was famously known as the philosopher emperor. His approach was a selection of created prompts that guided him through reflections on things like character, gratitude, setting goals and intentions for the day, reflecting and learning on the time that's passed. And those are all really brilliant ways to stay more productive, more creative, and more focused and intentional in our day-to-day lives. So, inspired by the Stoics, here are some practical ways to actually keep a regular daily journal and the features I've worked into my Notion template to make it really work. Hey Siri, open new journal entry. Remove the friction to starting. I'm starting on my mobile because I find this is the best place to be able to regularly journal. It's always on me, it's accessible. I have a little triple back tap, and it opens the journal directly. Now that's an accessibility shortcut in the iPhone. You go into accessibility and touch, click on back tap and you can set it. So what I've done is set a shortcut in my phone, a new journal entry. When I click on that, that takes me to it. I then put that link against the back tap function and it allows me to go straight there. Incidentally, if you saw my habit tracking video, I have a double back tap which takes me directly to my practices so I can habit track and log my practices. Start small and build a chain of little successes. Now when it comes to the first view, it's a calendar view. And the reason for that is that it displays a chain of dots. And it means that it encourages me not to break that chain. Now check out the blog post linked below on what's become known as the Seinfeld method, where your key focus is to not break a chain in order to build a habit. He says, just keep at it and the chain will grow longer every day. You'll like seeing that chain, especially when you get a few weeks under your belt. Your only job is to not break the chain. And I think it's a great call. Be inspired by seeing it on your mobile each time you open it up. Oh, I make sure, and there's a red dot going, I need to do it. So to do a new entry, I can just click on here and pick one of the templates I want to put in. Tip number 3, eliminate the blank page. So to put a new entry in, I can just either click on new or the arrow next to it. This is the bit that I'm really chuffed with. It's a list of prompts that you can select from. Now the template breaks down the act of writing into smaller, achievable building blocks. So you're always starting simple, small, and then building on that success. Now all of this supports the idea of building chain reactions that lead to good habits and create a kind of domino effect. It's something that James Clear talks about when he says, when in doubt, break things down into smaller chunks. As you try new habits, focus on keeping them small and manageable. The domino effect is about progress, not results. Simply maintain the momentum. Let the process repeat as one domino automatically knocks down the next. And that's what this is doing, really. A great time to journal is when you've just woken up, because you've not been overstimulated by whatever else you were doing. You know, your brain isn't as kind of active, and it's easier to do these calmer activities. And in the same way, journaling in bed or just before bed can be a really nice way to finish off the day. Hopefully you've wound down and you're in the right mindset in order to do it. Here's how the Notion template works. So I've moved on to my iPad to show you some of the features of this. Database layout. I've got these instructions at the top because I'm sharing the template. It talks you through the process. The first view is this kind of build a chain calendar. On a desktop, you'll obviously be able to read the entries and see what they are. But also I've got these other views. So I have all entries, which will just list what type that they are. They're tagged. If I go into, for example, the week just ended, you'll see the prompts and me having filled it out. And under the type of entry, each one is tagged so that you'll be able to search these in board views, which is quite cool. So if I go back to the journal, we also have entries by type. Now I haven't put those into this yet, but you can see that then I can just look at my daily reflections. Because they're tagged and they have these icons, you'll know the type, so you don't just have to call it a daily reflection on that day. So I could just call it this, and that's a really nice way to look at it. I also decided to add a column for content tags, subject-related tags to anything I write that I can type in when I make an entry and reference or search it later. Connections. Now the connections view is probably the best place to be able to link it to my kind of content creation or projects. So if there are kind of references within here, for example, fear setting, I'm going to link it to this video, I can just click in here, search my content creation database, the guide to daily journaling, there it is, click it in there, done, and I can link it. And this is a way that this kind of second brain system works. In the template you download, /create link database and link it to your projects or your content, as I've shown you in previous Notion videos if you wanted to do that. I hope you can take some inspiration from this collection of journaling prompts from my template. Let me talk you through the list. It's been inspired by lots of different things. The first one, the daily reflection, is kind of my go-to regular journal. This is like many things you'll see on many YouTube channels and people talking about how they journal like the Stoics. It's quite a common set of questions. In the morning, my choice is to do 3 things I'm grateful for, a bit of gratitude to start the day. What I'm looking forward to in the day, something under my control that would make today particularly great. I then have the one thing inspired by that book that I've talked about previously on the channel. The one thing I need to do today, I can put it in here, for example, film. Then when I come back to it in the evening, if I've done it, I can check it off, which is quite good. The other cool little thing is I've put this little linked database to my tasks. And the reason that's there is if I want to put any additional tasks in, I can do that. And then when I've finished, I can delete Yep, so it's done. And then it means that I don't have to keep saving that same thing. The same goes in the evening. I've got one which is any changes to tasks for tomorrow. Then in the evening, I like to look back at the wins of the day. What were achievements, what were the wins, what went well, something I've learned, one thing that I could have done better and how I can reapply that tomorrow. Something I'm thinking a lot about at the moment is how I effectively use my time in the mornings. So I've been noticing that my journal often says I should have got on with the one task earlier. And so it's actually helping me do that and build a habit. And then my favourite moment of the day, and then always at the bottom of each I'll have write. Just on my regular daily reflection, I've added these little buttons that will add some of the other templates on the bottom if I want to. If I want to do some blue sky thinking prompts, I click on it and it drops them down. Again, it allows me to extend what I'm writing if I want to. The next template is my 5-minute creator statements, something I shared on a previous video that help you find your voice, your goals, and your direction as a creative. And the idea is you just spend 5 minutes and just bash through them as quickly as you can. Check out that video if you want to see it. I've created a monthly and an end of the week reflection. Let's take a look at the week. It talks about who made me feel good, what was the biggest mistake I made this week, what did I do that moved me closer to reaching my goals. Now this one links into a view of my yearly goals template. So again, this is the joy of using Notion, is you can integrate your systems. How did you procrastinate on important tasks? So all of these are about taking learning and reflection and applying it forward so that using the journaling process allows me to document what's going on but also learn from it and grow. Something that Stoicism really preaches in its methodology around journaling is about kind of developing your character. So down the bottom I've got a question of character template. Asking those questions that we don't often ask about ourselves and kind of reflect on who we are. I think by writing it you're able to get clearer about maybe the narratives you write about yourself, the positives and negative things you may often kind of tend to think by repeating this process regularly. The questions are things like, what makes me unique? How do I stand out from the crowd? What are my best character traits? So have I been saving the best till last? Check these out. Fear setting is an interesting one. This one's inspired by Tim Ferris and his book, Tools of the Titans. And in it, he talks about fear setting. It's something that he's kind of coined, a bit like goal setting, but in opposition to it. I've linked references to where you can find out more about fear setting in the template. But it's a 3-step exercise designed to define your fears, help you explore what you can do or not do in order to overcome them. Because I think when we actually embrace facing those big fears, we're able to make difficult choices more effectively that lead inevitably to a more happier and peaceful life. So this is taking his system and working it into a template. What I've put in is a guide. So you name and define it, stage 1. You then work out how you might prevent or repair if those things happened, or how to stop them happening, and then you talk about the benefits if you were to face it and the cost of not facing it. I've got some of Tim Ferriss's questions about testing the impossible that are rather cool if you want to check those out. What if I did the opposite for 48 hours? Test the boundaries of the way you conceive reality. How about that? That's a cool one. You get the idea. Now honestly, I don't absolutely necessarily think I'll manage to do this every day, but I'm gonna try, and the fact that it's there and accessible in the way that it is really gonna make a difference. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it valuable, let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button, it all helps the channel. If you would like to get your hands on this template, this journaling template, I've made it available via the link in the description to my website. You can get hold of it for the price of a really nice cup of coffee. I hope that's okay with you. I will see you in the next video. Subscribe if you're not already, I would love that too. Let's stay connected, get outside, enjoy the fresh air, if you can. I'll see you in the next video.